Well, hello there, everyone. It is Friday, April the 8th, year 2022. Hopefully you're doing outstanding, and Mazske is back. And if you watched my video yesterday, and it only has 19 views with an average viewing time of 12 minutes. So even out of the 19 people, you probably didn't watch it long enough to find out what was happening. So sorry for you, because it could save your life. Anyway, two different things I'm going to talk about today. What would you do with $10,000? And what were the results from today? Which topic should I talk about first? Remember, I'm not a financial advisor, I'm not a CPA, I'm not an attorney, but shout out to Alicia, however, if I say your name right. She was the young lady who was the last nurse that I talked to, helped me get myself situated, and get me walked out to the missus who was waiting in a car for me to take me home. So anyway, I mentioned to two different people today, one prior to my procedure and one after. And here's the hook, I will give you results after I talk about this $10,000. Basic results. I'm not going to tell you the full story because I don't know the full story just yet. Okay, but the first nurse I spoke with, she asked me what did I do, because she asked me what kind of work did I do, and I said I'm retired. And she looked at me, and she looked at my date of birth in the computer, and she's like, "You're retired?" I said, "Yes." She said, "What do you do?" I said, "Well, I'm retired with a pension, but she's like, "No, what do you do? Like, how do you stay busy if you don't work a job?" And I said, "Well, I stay busy. I have a YouTube channel. I swim, I walk, I kayak, I do research." I didn't tell her this detail, but I do stuff with my rental properties and my oil, my mineral rights, all that kind of stuff. I research stuff, I study stuff. Okay, but this YouTube channel is time consuming. If you don't think it's time consuming, start your own and you'll find out it is time consuming. But she didn't ask me too much about my YouTube channel. But after my procedure, when I was still kind of woozy and coming back into it, because I first talked with Scott, he's a nurse there, I think. I think he's a nurse. Talked with Scott because it sounded like I went to sleep in one room and I wake up and I'm in another room with a guy standing next to me. Okay, that was Scott. But then Alicia, however you say her name, took over. And she sat and chatted with me for a while and then walked me out. But she asked me about something or another, and I mentioned my YouTube channel. She said, "What's it about?" And I said, "I try to talk about financial stuff." And she said, and the gist of it is like, what's it called? Mazske Finance, that's what it's called. And she said, "What are you doing there?" Or whatever she said. And I said, "Well, I try to help people learn how to invest." And she goes, "Well, I got a question. What would you do if you had $10,000? And I said, "Well, I assume this is you, right?" She goes, "Yeah." I said, "Well, short answer is you are very, very close to being at the point where you get a rental property." Okay? That's short answer. We had a 20-second conversation on that $10,000. All right, so Alicia, if you remember the name of my channel and you watch this video, maybe I'll put something with your name in the subject line. First name only. I don't know your last name anyway. Because I try to help everyone out, not just you. I try to help everyone. There's 286 subscribers. I hope to help all of you, okay? So maybe one of my videos one day will get 286 views. You would think, perhaps one day. So anyway, if you were my daughter, because you're a lot younger than me, or you're my friend, and you told me you had $10,000, I would tell you two things. One, I would say, well, you're an RN. You make a pretty healthy paycheck. Maybe you have high rent, maybe you have a high mortgage payment. I would ask you, are you married? Because if you have a spouse, does your spouse work? Are you in a relationship? Does your partner work? Is there two incomes or is it just your income? Do you have expenses like above and beyond? Do you have pets? Do you have a dog? Do you have a cat? Because they can be expensive. They take your money. But if she has $10,000, I don't know how she got it. She might have been given the money, or maybe she saved it up. Maybe she's a saver, so that's good. So if you save $10,000, I would say double down, because when you understand the magic of real estate, and I understand it better than perhaps a lot of you, because I am living in South Florida in a $1 million house with a swimming pool on the water, and I don't work a job. Real estate did this for me, okay? Stock investing didn't do it for me. Yes, it got me started, it helped me out, but it didn't do this for me. Real estate did this for me. And real estate then allowed me to get accredited where I could invest in oil drilling and mineral rights. So then I get revenue from that, okay? So again, if I was talking to Alicia, I would probably say, well, knowing what I know now, because some investors would disagree with me. They'll say, put that $10,000 in S&P 500 index fund. And I'll say, no, don't do that. Take that $10,000, maybe put it in a high interest account, which is only 0.5% or 0.6%, and ramp up your savings the best you can. Cut expenses the best you can. Get it up to $15,000 to $20,000. Because if you got $10,000, you can get to 15 to 20. If you get to 15 to 20, and since you're local to me, we could always meet up. And if you're in a relationship with your spouse or your partner, whoever, we can meet up over coffee, okay? And so we could talk in person. And I could share with you how you could take your 15-ish, because you got a paycheck coming in. You're not unemployed. You're working a job. You got a paycheck coming in, so you always got more money. Okay, I can help you to get your first rental property, and once you get that first rental property, as long as you buy intelligently, and I would help you to learn how to run the numbers to have positive cash flow after all expenses. And if you're positive cash flow, and if you're new to real estate, this will sound small, but if your positive cash flow is at least $250 a month, okay, that's $250 a month you can kind of like put in your pocket. That's after you pay your mortgage, your principal, your interest, your taxes, your insurance, and after you hold out expenses for vacancies, repairs, and capital expenditures. So you're saving more money, vacancies, repairs, and capital expenditures. That could be 20% of the rent. Okay, so if rent's $1,000 a month, that's $200, right? Yeah. So that's $200 in a year's time, that'd be $2,400. That's being saved up for future repairs, okay? Your $250 positive cash flow is being saved up perhaps to go in your pocket, but no. If you're an investor, it doesn't go in your pocket. You save it up, you keep saving money from your paycheck, you add that $250 to that savings, and you'll save up to get your second property that much faster. And once you get your second, it's the beauty of real estate. You get your third, you get your fourth, and next thing you know, because time keeps passing, because it's a slow process. It's a marathon, it's not a sprint. It doesn't happen overnight. It's a journey, and you will get tried. It will be stressful at times. Okay, it will be stressful, but you persevere. You have that grit, that internal motivation, that drive, whatever that is, that keeps you plugging away, because not everyone has it. I don't know why, but not everyone has it. Like 98% of the population doesn't have it. All right, so you have that internal drive, and you keep plugging away, and you'll get there sooner rather than later. And I dare say, Alicia, if you're still listening, you're an RN. I know roughly what you probably make. I can guess at it. I could be wrong. You could be financially independent in 10 years. See, 10. I don't have a whiteboard to show you or a computer screen. 10 years you could be financially independent. That doesn't mean you need to stop working. But maybe you could tweak your working. Maybe you could work 3 days a week instead of working 5. Or maybe you retire young and just keep buying real estate. Okay. All right. So to keep this video shorter, test results today. Alrighty. Here's what happened today. I got up at dark 30. And remember yesterday, if you watched yesterday's video, I purged myself. I was emptied out. I was clear. I was dehydrated. Every moisture drop, more or less, was out of my body. It wasn't fun. All right, so I was at the dock at 10 minutes till 7, 5 till 7 in the morning, a.m. I got up early. Hate being retired and have to get up early. So anyway, and no coffee, no cup of coffee. Terrible. And I was a little nervous, because that's you get nervous like that. And the first nurse she asked me, "Are you nervous?" I said, "Yeah, I'm a little nervous. Plus, I'm uncomfortable. I'm wearing a mask. I don't like wearing a mask. I didn't have any coffee. I had a little headache going. I had caffeine withdrawal, and I was dehydrated. I didn't have any water, tea, nothing. So I was dehydrated. So she had to hook an IV up, just put an IV in my hand for when they put me to sleep. But she hooked me up to electrolytes, I guess, to help hydrate me. And it took a couple minutes, but I could tell I started feeling a little better, because I was getting moisture in my body. I was getting hydrated a little bit. So that it helped me feel better, okay? So anyway, when I went into the room, talked to the doc a bit. He explained to me what he'd be doing. And we chit-chatted. They had me, laying on my side. And I'd met the anesthesiologist prior, and I heard her voice, I think it was her voice, say something like, I'm starting the medication, and I might have said, okay. I had something in my mouth. My mouth was open because they were going to do an endoscopy as well. And so that was uncomfortable. It's like being a dentist when you've had, I don't know if you ever had braces or you had something done and they got to hold your mouth open, and it's uncomfortable. Okay. So anyway, then once I heard that I'm going to start medication, I remember looking at my hand, and I don't remember anything else until I was waking up, and as I shook my head clear, Scott was standing next to me. And he was like, "You doing okay?" And I was like, "I think so." I'm still waking up here. So then, but anyway, the doc came in and talked to me, and they gave me a report, color pictures. They gave me color pictures. Okay, so he stuck a tube down my throat, through my esophagus, down into my stomach. All right, that's pretty far. So, but basically, in a nutshell, on that tube, he found two polyps. He said they were benign. I think you can probably tell by looking at them, I guess. He's going to send them to the lab to be tested, but he said they're benign. And he found an inflammation in my lower esophagus, right near where it connects to the stomach. And he said what that is stomach acid. It's acid reflux. Acid's coming back up there. It's inflaming that area. And then also by doing that, what did he say? I think they stretched out my diaphragm. Is the diaphragm at the top of the stomach? They stretched something out. I'm picturing it be like a little hole. Maybe it was getting smaller, and they used their thing to stretch it out, which should help with the whole process of swallowing food and getting it all the way down to the stomach and not getting it stuck in there. So anyway, I think he told me, I was still a little loopy when he talked to me. I think he's gonna call a prescription in for acid reflux. I have never taken long-term medication in my life. 54 years old. I don't want to start. However, we'll see if he does prescribe something, we'll see what it is. I'll look at what side effects are. If it's an as needed thing, that's what I want, as needed. And I will tweak my diet. I will figure out what's causing this irritation. Maybe it's my coffee. Coffee has acid. I'll figure it out and I'll tweak my diet. Okay. So, but anyway, he'll send those two polyps off to the lab, I think, to get those tested. Then they did the colonoscopy. And he said in there he found 3 polyps. Small, little. He used the word little. Little polyps. They looked okay. You know, they'll send them, as a precaution, they always send them to the lab, but he said it looks okay. So, what else did he find in there? That was mainly it. He took pictures of everything, going up inside, going down inside. And if you Google pictures on the internet, what's the inside of the stomach look like? Okay, that's what it looks like. You don't see anything special. You know, yours looks probably like mine, I guess. So anyway, it is what it is. If you're here, and I'm going to wrap this up real quick. I should have said this at the beginning of the video. I was talking about colon cancer and Chadwick Boseman yesterday. He was like 42 years old when he died of colon cancer. Trey Mancini, he plays on the Baltimore Orioles. He's a Major League Baseball player. In 2020, in spring training, he went for a non-baseball related medical procedure. And a week or so later, he announced that he had stage 3 colon cancer. And he missed the entire 2020 season, which I think was also impacted by COVID. So he missed it, but he didn't miss a lot. But he was in the hospital for a long time, especially being a young guy who's 28 years old. But he's back to playing baseball. He was out the whole year. He came back last year, did good, and he's back this year. Made the starting rotation, I believe, DHing and playing the outfield, perhaps. Youngster is playing first base. Trey will probably get traded. He's actually from Florida, so he'll probably get traded because he's 30-ish. The Orioles have a youth movement going on. They're on the verge. They might still come in last place. They're in the hardest division in baseball. 4 teams last year, and there's 5. 4 teams won more than 90 games. Yeah, it's the hardest division in baseball. Yankee, Red Sox, Blue Jays, and one other team, and then the Orioles. It's 5 teams. Forgetting that one. So anyway, Trey I'll predict that he'll be gone by July. He'll get traded somewhere. So we'll see. All right, so good enough. My lab results probably won't come back 7 to 10 days, I will either get a letter in the mail or a phone call. Hopefully I get a letter in the mail. That means there's no problem. And I'll get to go back and do it again based on what the test results are. Doctor told me I may go back and do it again in 3 years, or I may go back and do it again in 5 years. Let's hope it's 5 years. That's easier to remember. Okay, pushing 60, I go back. 3 years, it's like, oh, well, 57, 58. I might be out there on a boat sailing the seas. I might not remember. So anyway, all right, y'all take care. Stay safe. Take care of yourself, okay? Mazske cares about you. It doesn't matter if I never meet you in my life. It doesn't matter if you're not a subscriber. If you stuck it out to the end, Mazske cares about you. Stay safe. Love life. Have a cup of tea. Mazske signing out.